It's your boy Nico the Virgo, back with another video. And basically what I'm going to touch on in this video is why 373s and a higher stall converter are the best bang for your buck modifications to do. To the point where you might not even want to build your engine, let alone swap it. All right. So first I'm going to get into the cost. Well, what it may cost you. All right. So let me see. 14, 18. That's what it cost me. 700 for the labor, 373 gear ratio, right? Shit, 8.5, all that stuff, blase, blase. And the reason I say, 373s is the best modification along with a higher stall converter is because I've had a Caprice 9C1 1996. It had an LT1 in it. And even with the open diff, you know, it to me it felt like a torquey car. Like it had a lot of torque and only had 40K on the engine. Got a brand new engine. It was put in back in 2001. And how I know that is because it was a police car that was, it was owned by the sheriff's department in Gloucester, and it was turned over to the Gloucester public schools. So it was owned by the public, up until I had got it. I was the first private owner of that vehicle. So it had never really been tampered with as far as performance. If anything, it was strangled because it going over to the Gloucester Public Schools, it was a lab rat for the automotive mechanic class, so it only had one pipe. Now, it was a real LT1, it had the 320 stamp on it, had all that, everything matched up, the VIN matched, everything matched. It was a real LT1 car. And, you know what I mean? Even that felt like a freaking workhorse, man. It was extremely responsive. It was man. I really missed that Caprice. Even with the hack job of I had a really serious exhaust leak, like very bad in the pipes. So I guess the dual pipe, the single pipe didn't really make that huge of a difference because it was a gaping hole in the muffler. But seeing the two different sides from a modified LT1 to a non-modified LT1, I can say that the gears in the stall made a huge difference, a tire ripping difference, right? Even going from, a Crown Vic to a Caprice, um, you know, the first time I remember I accelerated in the same manner that I would have in my Crown Vic. I remember my tire burning like a long straight burnout like for a while because I hit the gas, I hit the throttle so hard that like I guess, it literally the tires had smoked a bit. Like it was happened actually 2 times. I had to get used to it. So even with that being said, like, imagine modifying that same thing. That's basically like the same experience that you get. So I'm a living testament to tell you that these modifications that I'm talking about actually do make a difference. As far as track times, these modifications have been proven. A lot of the real people who, really want to get real performance out of these things, this is the route they go. 373s, a lot of the guys go 3,000 stall. The people who actually plan to do further modifications as far as heads and cam, they plan to actually get some serious times down the track. They go 373 and do a stall around 3,000. They don't half step. A lot of guys do, what I consider half stepping is 342s and a 2200 S10 stall or Blazer stall, whatever like that. That's what I consider half stepping, because another thing with the stall, the higher the stall rating is, the smaller the diameter of the. It's because it's imagine it being a donut, a heavy ass donut with a little thing in the middle, right, sticking up. The higher the stall is, the smaller the diameter of that converter will be. In turn, giving you better acceleration off of that alone. Well, not alone, but that's part of the reason, because it's less rotating weight. It's also why you don't really want to race on rims, or any kind of larger aftermarket wheels. You actually want to go with some lightweight 15-inch wheels, as light as you can. So yeah, it's less rotating weight, but the real scientific thing and the real actual factual reason why it gives you better acceleration is because from the factory torque converter is rated at 1400 to 1500 RPM, meaning when you mash that gas, the converter flashes the PCM at that RPM that the converter is rated at. So it's still, once you mash that gas, it still has to work its way up to the power band. And the 373s, they give you that hard initial launch, but also the higher stall will make that launch a lot harder. So even if you didn't want to go with a stall, the 373s are still an okay modification alone. Like it's a very good modification. Um, Also, when you do a stall converter, you really should, well, my setup is I got a 160 stat, and I got, with my tune, I also got the fans cut on at 160. So in turn, it keeps, the fluid cool, because keep in mind, the transmission fluid and the oil and all that is, running in line with the radiator. So if the radiator is running cool, the fan is blowing. That also means it is blowing onto the lines. So therefore, it would help cool down the transmission fluid. And also, I don't end up in a lot of stop and go traffic. And that's also when transmissions tend to heat, is in stop and go traffic. But everything that I'm saying, I'll drop a link down below in the comment section that'll further explain. And you can actually, this can be an introduction into the Impala SS form, the real one, not on Facebook. The one on Facebook is all right, but whatever. I got my mixed opinions about that. But it's the real Impala SS form. You can learn a lot from here. And also, to those guys that, you know, hop in the forum and ask them, can you get into the 13s with some bolt-ons? And say that you doubt it. And tell me how that goes. And come back and tell me how that went. So, I'm telling you, when you know what you're doing, it's another thing, right? You got to know how to drive to get some decent times on the track. It's the main thing, is knowing how to drive. If you don't know how to drive, if you don't got everything right, your tires aren't sticky, you got the right tires, this, that, and the third, you're not gonna get decent track times on, decent ETs on the track. I don't care what you're driving. You're gonna do terrible in any car if you don't know what you are doing. And your response time too. That's also measured. Your reaction times also measured on your time slip. So all that goes into play on getting decent track performance. So it's not just your car that is determining the track performance. So that's another thing that you learn growing up on the track and whatnot, going to the drag strip, growing up. You see a lot of stuff, you hear a lot of stuff, and that's one of the things that's important. You can be in anything and you can make a killing versus another car that's more powerful if the driver does not know what they're doing. So yeah, man, I just wanted to touch on that and basically put it out there that, hey, these two modifications that I'm talking about to the drivetrain is the best. And also with the 373s, now the thing is with the Impalas, the Impala SS and the 9C1, and the Camaros and the Corvettes and whatnot, they all had the same drive shaft, the same type of drive shaft. But yeah, type of drive shaft, maybe not the same length or whatever, but the same type, as opposed to the runs and the Roadmasters and the Caprice B4Us and the Wagons and all that. They all have two separate uh, drive shafts. You know what I mean? Because I would know for sure because like I said, I've been under a regular 4.3 Caprice at the junkyard, and I've seen the difference in the drive shafts. And a lot of people, they say, when you put 373s on a B-Body, you get vibrations at high speeds, which that's not true in my case. And thanks to the fact that the cop cars and the super sports and the Camaros all had the same type of drive shaft. So I guess it's a great thing. It's holding up very well. But I would recommend an aluminum drive shaft if you are having a vibration issues, and also drive shafts safety loop while you're at it. I mean, forget it. Just already had that in there. You might not be running 11s or whatever, or whatever your track uh, mandates the drive shaft safety loop, but it still gives you peace of mind that whatever happens when you do run slicks or you do run a certain track time, that won't happen when you're doing regular driving at slower times. So, like I said, it's not mandatory. It just gives you peace of mind when you're on the track. I want to do it. It's only $100. But whenever I do my my drive shaft, that's when I'm going to do it. So, like I said, the 2200 is not really worth it. Uh, you might as well go 24, 26. If you must go that low, I'm rocking with the 3000 because it's just, I don't mind it. I like, I just don't mind it. You know what I mean? It's a proven rating. Especially depending on the brand that you get, it may stall higher than it's rated, or it might stall lower than it's rated. The Yanks, not so much the Yanks, but the precision industry vigilantes, they're kind of known for stalling at the advertised rating, or sometimes maybe like 50 RPM lower, which is not bad. Um, so those are like the three really good brands. I may be missing some others. Circle D is a good brand. It's some other ones, but Edge Racing seems to be the most proven, but yet the most affordable, because you can get that 24, 26 stall for $400. You can get the Street Edge for 600. So I don't think that's a terrible price for what you are getting. It's the shipping that's going to be expensive, but the Street Edge with 701, you know, it's going to be 701 to your doorstep after shipping, taxes, and all that. I'm not sure about your state, but mine, it was 701 after everything. So, but with Vigilante, people say that the drivability is a little bit better. But I really think the drivability really depends on what type of driving you'll be doing, and it really is all like opinions on what you feel like is drivable, or what you feel like is streetable, and it's all really opinionated on what star rating you would need, or that's what it all depends on you. And really, like, the link that I'm dropping would also help you make that decision of what you would want. But if you plan on doing a cam, I would recommend just going with the 28, anywhere between 28 and 32 if you plan on doing a cam anyway. It's streetable. It's not that bad on the street. Just like people say, 373s are bad on the highway. No, they're not. Like, if you are in this thing to save gas, go ahead and if you have any of these three cars, if you have either of these and you plan on saving gas, get rid of it, because you have the wrong car to try to save gas with. Go get you a Honda, whatever you got to do to save gas. But like I said,